drove through the rain from Philly here. I was so excited.
It's good for the year. We got 3,000 people.
Go Eagles!
Happy to see you. That's a nice thing.
Yes, it is.
Good emotion. Good to see everybody in this house. Congratulations on this series. So first of all, let's talk. We're at New York Comic Con. It occurred to me, I think your first Comic Con experience was actually, we did a panel for the 10th anniversary. You're trying to think about that. The 10th anniversary of Unbreakable.
Yeah.
9 years ago.
That's right.
Unbreakable. Give it up. How was your first Comic Con? Was there trepidation going into that? And since then you've done a bunch of Comic Cons, does it feel like you're among your people when you're at a Comic Con?
It does. I mean, we really embraced it as kind of one of the main. Whenever I do a film and I date it, I'm like, can we go to Comic Con? How do we show something at Comic Con? It's always on my mind now. The irony of the Unbreakable story is, when I made Unbreakable, I was like, oh, I'm going to make a movie about comic books, and the company that I made it for said, well, that's not a viable thing to do. That's just a small group of nerdy people conventions. This is literally a conversation. And so let's not say that there's anything to do with comic books when we sell the movie, because it's so niche. No one's going to go see a movie about comic book heroes. And that was Disney.
They learned.
Listen to this man. Growing up, were you a genre kid? Like, were you into sci-fi, Star Trek, Star Wars, fantasy? What were you into?
Yeah, in those days, you go to the video store and you take a little tag off. I don't know, you take a little tag off. There'll be like 3 copies of whatever, Dune, and you take one of the 3 copies of Dune and you go, I'd like to have this. And if they were out, they're out. You just go to that section of the video store and you just take out everything in the genre. I'm Indian, if you haven't noticed. And that means that I couldn't have R-rated stuff at my house. My parents would literally think I was enjoying the cult or something. So it was always PG-13, or if it was R, half-assed guy. Well, be honest with me. What is this? Is there a curse word? Are there breasts? Because if my mom caught me at that moment watching that would be, it would be done. So I watched every PG and PG-13 thing in every genre that I could get my hands on. And the occasional, not my friend's house, the R-rated.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what do your parents make of your potential often edgy, disturbing words now?
You know what, it's still that way, because every time I want to put in some nudity or something, I think of my mom watching it always, I'm really manly when I'm writing. I'm like, yes, and there's this beautiful naked person, and then I'm like, no, do that.
So I was alluding to this before, and so it's been 20 years since seeing your name on a poster truly did mean something to an audience, and that's a huge compliment to you. It doesn't happen for a lot of storytellers. For you, what do you hope when somebody sees your name on an image in the trailer? What do you hope that conjures up in person? What's the promise of something from M. Night Shyamalan?
Well, this subject's actually super important to me, because that relationship with the audience is something I take very, very seriously, and it's a relationship that authors have in other mediums, like with you go to read a Stephen King book, and you go see a play by Neil Simon. It happens in other mediums, but not necessarily in film. So it's one that I take very, very seriously. That I can't even grasp the idea of a teenager in Rio or someone in Tokyo or Sydney, and they see that it means something to them, and then they pay their money to go. It's a big, big deal to me, and so I've tried to orient. I think some of the things we're going to talk about value systems, about storytelling, and what I've been able to use my position to do. I'm using it to leverage as much as I can to make sure that I'm doing things that, at least in my opinion, are of the highest quality, so that those individuals, that there's an understanding that they're really getting something from me specifically, and that I'm willing to take risks, and I'm not chasing you, and I'm respecting you guys. The big thing I always say to the studios, the audience's EQ, their emotional intelligence is off the charts. They're all together and it's off the charts. They can feel that authenticity in a performance. They can feel it, and that will translate to commerce on their side, so please trust me on that. You don't need to talk down to me. That's all, I have that conversation all the time.
So, going back, okay, 20 years since Sixth Sense, which was clearly a huge transitional moment for you, and again, orienting us with you. What struck me remembering when I first saw that movie was it was such a mature film from a young guy. You were a very young guy when you made Sixth Sense. It felt like you had such assuredness behind the camera. Like the shots were very specifically composed. The color palette, everything about it felt like somebody had been doing this for a long time. Where did that certitude come from? It felt like you came out of nowhere and all of a sudden had all these skills.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it comes out of nowhere, but it's really a long, ugly road. Yeah, it's not a long, ugly road, but, you know, there's 45 short films. There's a movie I made when I was 21, and it went the independent cinema way, and it did nothing, and I went to festivals, and then another 2 years later, I went and made a film for Miramax, and I had the Harvey Weinstein experience, and and then that didn't do well, and all of the failures, and then I got a chance to write a movie for Studio Stuart Little, and so there was a lot of things, and I'd written a spec screenplay that got sold in the bidding war. There's a lot of ups and downs and learning and believing in your own voice and a lot of opportunities to do, hey, you can join the system. Really, there's a real struggle, and I've been able to have more distance now and be able to understand what we all struggle with is how do we be ourselves and be a part of the group. And this movement to kind of the desire to be accepted by the group, which I have desperately, like all of us do. I so want to be accepted, but yet it's kind of hits against the thing like, hey, I'm kind of weird and I have all these weird things about me. And if I'm going to be honest about myself, I may not be accepted. That struggle is always there, but there's a beautiful tension in that. And I think when you're doing cinema, let's say, you know, in a really crass way, we can say like movies that are super, super commercial, right? And you go see them and you're really acknowledged as an audience member. I see you. You're the doorman. You paid your money. You came in here and you were super entertained. I see you. I really see you. You feel seen. But when you leave, you really haven't grown at all. So you're like, as soon as you're in the parking lot, you're like, hey, what's next? You know, that kind of thing. And then when you see something really specific and very unique, well, let's just call it independent cinema for a second. You're seeing an individual there very specifically, and you're learning all about that individual and how they are in the world, but you're not being seen at all. And sometimes we love to go to lectures, and we want to learn about that, and you come away with a little bit more understanding about things, but you weren't seen, which isn't as satisfying. For me, I'm trying to do both a little bit, so you guys can see me and I can see you, and we can have this kind of conversation together, and I think that's always been the tension that I've been trying to go for, unconsciously.
And the other thing that you focused on, like this recently, was you're really good at putting kind of wolf in sheep's clothing in terms of like you use genre as sort of like the fun icing on the cake, masking a truly emotional human story. We were talking about The Sixth Sense. We did an episode for a show that I'm doing where we visited and went back to some of the locations that you shot at Sixth Sense 20 years ago. And it was that's a love story. That's a love story at its heart. Do you think about your projects first on a character level, or do you think genre? Do you think, for lack of a better term, twists and turns like that? I mean,
I never think of it like that. That's when you start to get artificial. Great plot comes out of character. So in like Sixth Sense, for example, I knew it was about a movie about communication, lack of communication, so it just is naturally how it came out. Well, he and his wife are having trouble communicating. They're having trouble communicating. They're not saying things to each other. Why aren't they saying things to each other? And then I went, oh, right? And you get the plot. Right? The plot comes out of that plot. He didn't tell his wife something before it was too late. And that becomes the movie. And so in that way, you try to have the characters kind of take you to, they land you in the right plot. And so like I'm writing a movie now, and the last draft I did really concentrated on the movement, the structure of the story. And then I can feel myself bending the characters, not honoring them. So this pass that I've already started, the fourth pass, I'm just listening to the characters and who is she? Why would she be standing there at that moment? Would she be standing there when that was revealed? And being just from their point of view and honoring them. And so there's that balance between the outside and the inside.
Well, I mean, if you guys aren't following my own social, I just want to do about this too. Like, I love that it's still hard. Like, it never gets easy just because of all the success. It's still a blank page you start with. Do you find that's an important lesson to impart, that like you're in the struggle with every aspiring writer and filmmaker and storyteller out there?
Absolutely. It's absolutely terrifying every single time to go to an empty page and have an idea and say 2 years from now you guys are going to watch it. Or even what we're watching here, which is something that, you have a dream about something, you can hear it, and then, we hope we can get there, and I hope the right actor comes, and hope we can write it the right way, and all of those things. It's super humbling and super scary. I've also really made a point of working with younger, newer people. So I try to hire, composers first show on this show, and first time cinematographers, first time editors, first time or second time where I've seen a short film or I've seen a film. And why I do that is they are kind of like young vampires. And I'm stacked or something, I've been around 500 years. And I don't see it anymore. And they have all this stuff. And the worst part about experience is you start to use craft way too much. You start to protect yourself and you don't take risks. And so for me, right now it's always about taking risks, including doing this.
So speaking of this, I mean, like you went to TV a few years back with your first story with Cons about 5 years ago.
Yeah. Building is here somewhere.
So was there trepidation about bringing this very high level of aesthetic and craft and just the high the high standards to television?
Yeah, I've avoided this format because the great thing about the format is it's a character-driven format. You come to watch week to week because you're connected to the characters, and I love that, right? So that's amazing. But the amount of content that you have to deliver for the amount of time and the amount of resources and that just doesn't work. Which is why we can, on two hands, maybe count every show that has gone from beginning to end with the same quality, right? It's just a machine that keeps going. That was terrifying to me. On this show, Tony, who wrote the show, came up with an amazing premise, which is we're going to do a half-hour thriller. And I went, that we might be able to do at this level. And then we were talking through, and in my head, again, this is in my head, I know we have a sense of the story, we know where it's going to go. And in my head, it's 60 episodes. And that's where we're going to get to here and get you guys to this place and finish this story. And this is where everyone's coming from. 60? That's in my head, yeah. In my head, right? And so, for example, that would be 30 episodes of Game of Thrones, right? And so that would be 3 seasons or less, right, of Game of Thrones. So, but that over 6 years and done in a very, the other thing that's really important to me is I do a lot of contained stories now. I do that for a lot of reasons I'd like to insinuate, but it's, again, very practical. It's something that I can execute at a high level and not travel all over the world. So this show, the other thing that's really, really unique about the show is it never leaves one location. The entire show, all the time, is always in one location. So it has this almost play-like quality to it. And so we got to concentrate on the performances and the writing and the cinematography, and every shot's thought out. When the directors come in, we talk about my theory about cinema. And so when I say, if you're going to do a medium shot on a character, you need to tell me why. Why is she feeling medium? Is she feeling medium? Is that what she's feeling? Huh. And then why is the other person feeling medium? They're both feeling medium? Why do we even do this scene? They're feeling it. And so talk me through it. And then so it's to evoke an understanding about the frame. As the frame's dropping, that makes you feel something. The frame rising has a different feeling. Which feeling are you going for? Are you thinking about that? Is that the right lens? Is it 27? Is it 35 or is it 50? They all have different senses of depth and they create different emotions. They say different things about what the characters are. So what does this all mean? For me, I feel when you guys see an image from this show, you will sense all of that. That's what I was referencing, your EQ being off the charts, that you'll go, that's ringing true to me, that's ringing, I'm seeing all the resonance in the choice of colors and the framing and the textures. I see her dress has this pattern and the wall has the opposite pattern. I see that without knowing it, and I can feel that there's thought and depth there, and that will cause a connection. Because for me, the thing, at home when someone's watching and they're watching a show and they're just typing on their computer and they're watching, I'm watching that happen and I'm wondering why that's happening. I want you unable to do something else. Yeah. Because that tension in every frame, and so this is the aspiration, and it's just been, I have to say, when we finished the first season, and it was really one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. It's just been a really beautiful thing, and I hope when you guys get to see it, you'll appreciate it.
I think they will. Two episodes, are we allowed to say that?
Yeah. No, we're not allowed to say that. What's been fantastic is it's been such a group kind of fun. We got a warehouse in Philly, we built this set, I have my offices right there, and sometimes I would even say, hey, can I grab something? Can I go grab this? I directed 2 episodes, but I would say, hey, can I grab this? I have an idea and things, and it was just so fun and collaborative. The directors were so amazing to work with, and it was all in the intention of like, hey, can we make it better? Can we make it better? And because we were in the same location, we could go grab it. And so, it's been a really fun thing, and we edited it at my house. It's just super fun.
So beyond the lots of convenience that happens for you, your quality of life, why the shot watching everything back home in Philly? Yeah. What about the specificity of this townhouse that's basically Philly makes this? It's a very evocative location, but how does that location define?
For me, I once was teaching a class in an inner city and it was kids in English, and I was saying, if you can be you as specifically as you can, everything about you, your arrogance, your insecurities, your confidence, everything about you, just be honest when you're doing your song or your essay or your show. You have a power. It shoots up into the sky. We all can hear it when one of us is being authentic and okay with themselves and saying, I'm scared, and that shoots into the sky and becomes super powerful. With that ethos, the idea of saying, I'm from Philly, I'm Indian, I was born in Pondicherry, India, I live in Philly, I love that city. It's a city based on European cities. It has almost a global quality when you walk down the street. You're not sure you're in London. And I love that. And so we're talking about a specific couple that lives in this specific house and what happened to them.
Can we talk about casting for a second?
Yeah.
We can talk about that without making the guys explode.
Yeah.
On stage. But we've always had a great knack for mixing it up. Established people like we look at Success. Bruce Willis, huge movie star, and Haley Joel, nobody had ever seen.
Yeah.
We've had a knack for Bryce Dallas Howard, who helped discover, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Split. And this kind of continues that tradition. Yeah. Some recognizable faces, some newer faces. What's the philosophy behind this? Because it's a small cast. This is a small group that has to hold their attention.
Well, if we're gonna get a little kumbaya on you guys. I have this thing about life, dudes. I think we're all super powerful, and whatever we're thinking about and whatever we're concentrating on, that comes back to us. And the universe doesn't really go good or bad, so if you feel really bad about yourself, there's a long line of assholes to date you, right, that are coming and they're going to treat you like crap. And why I keep dating assholes? And it's coming and coming back at you. And in art, I feel the same way. If you can think very carefully about this character and make it so specific, that person walks in and does an audition in London or does an audition in wherever, in LA or somewhere, and it's happened over and over and over, exactly the right person, exactly the right time. When James McAvoy walked up to me at Comic-Con with his head shaved, and I went, that's the guy. And I didn't know who in the world could play Split. I just didn't know who could do it, and he walked right up to me. And in that same way, there are 4 cast members. It's just not possible to orchestrate things intellectually to happen the way they happen. that when I saw Lauren Ambrose's audition, it was like a lightning bolt, and I was like, we're on the right track, because she just walked in. She just walked in, and we have this. And each of the cast members started to do that for me. Toby auditioned, and I was like, this guy feels like a revelation. He's like a guy's guy, but he's super sweet. And I was like, this is exactly how we pictured him. And then Rupert from Harry Potter and all, and he came in. Literally, guys, he is like transcendent in the show. It's like a different human being than we've seen him as a child. And when does that ever happen? Where they get, like, you find yourself as an actor and as an adult. I mean, we are so lucky. Now, everybody I just mentioned are incredible physical actors, as you'll see when you watch the series. Because it's a contained piece, they're all very physical, the way they act, and you see it in their language, and running up the stairs, and how they conduct themselves. And then, of course, you look in front of like a new color that you haven't seen, and then Nell walks in, Nell Tiger 3, and again, I've gotten very lucky with Abigail Breslin and Bryce and Panelists, and Nell walked in, and against all of this energy, you kind of have this quiet, kind of mysterious quality of someone who's discovering themselves in the world, and that energy, the four of them, it's just unbelievable. It's so lucky, honestly. I feel like I don't know how to express this enough. It's like magic, and that's why I love filmmaking. I feel really, really grateful.
Do you always feel, we're starting to talk about this show, so now the audience finally is starting to get a sense of what the series is about. But there's always probably a push-pull for you, like how much and when to release information about your project. There's still a little mystery left in the world, so it's nice to have something about your project. And there's always been that air about all your projects. Like, is it just sort of, I mean, I'm assuming you're pretty hands-on in terms of like working with a studio or Apple, et cetera, and like, what should we reveal? Like, is that just a touch feel thing, of like how much we should let the audience in on before they get the chance to actually do it?
Yeah, you touch on that kind of how we market the movies. Yeah, or the shows, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much a scene-based marketeer in the sense that I want you to see the tones of the show. I don't want it to be commonized. I want you to see that it's different. That's what makes you stop typing. You look up because the rhythms are specific. Yeah. In this particular case, we were really lucky. Tony and Jason and Ashwin and I, who had this project, we went out in a lot of places wanted to make this show. And we decided to go with Apple. And the reason we did is because I felt there was a connection between the aesthetics that we talked about and them as a company and their kind of minimalism and tacit spirituality and all of that. And also this was an opportunity to help define a place, which was a really exciting thing for me, to help define a place. And with this kind of new movement in how you guys watch content, to be with the biggest company in the world, and there's 1.6 billion devices that they have, Apple has, that to have that kind of reach and to say, hey, let's tell a long-form story with them was really exciting. So, and they really did give me the opportunity to go make it in Philadelphia.
So two things I would bring up before we expand this group here. One, I feel like we can't let you off the stage without talking a little bit about Unbreakable and the Unbreakable trilogy that it's become. So I guess my two-part question is like the sense of satisfaction now that you must feel having completed the story that you thought of way back when and maybe never imagined that you were going to complete the trilogy. And of course the inevitable second part is like, is it definitively done, or do any of those characters have a life beyond it?
The thing is always, I mean, technically those movies are sequels, and Glass is definitely a sequel to both those movies. The difficult part for me about making sequels for me is because I'm trying to tell you exactly who I am at that moment, and things that I'm worried about, and who I am, and what I'm worried about, what's happened to me. It's hard to go back and say, hey, be the 35-year-old self, or be the 28-year-old self, and hey, they love that version of you. So that's a tough one for me, the way I make. So although there's ideas that pop into my head, that's the only story that was longer than one movie that I was thinking of. So one of the things that I do when I make a new movie with the same studio, I ask for the sequel rights for the previous movie. I'll give you this, but you give me that one back. And it's about this to make sure that there's some authenticity there with it. And I was so lucky to get to finish it. And I mean, it's impossible what happened, which was 2 different studios said that they would allow their characters from each of their franchises, which were really successful in Blood, to come together, and they would share it and let me just go make it. And so it was just really, Hollywood is a tough place, but sometimes they really do support somebody that they just want to give help to.
And the last thing is, in the biggest twist of Twisty career, this is us. This is us last week, guys. What happened?
Dan, who writes that show, he kept calling me to be in it. And I was like, no, I'm writing, I can't. And he's so sweet. And he kept calling me and kept saying, how about this? And then I was like, all right, let's do it. It was a really sweet thing. Thank you for watching.
So Adam said, like almost nothing out there of this series. Cool to have. Bring all these people out and share.
So I want to show you guys something, and it's just for you guys. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you the trailer that Apple and I put together for it, and nobody else is gonna see it. It's only in this room, and the rest of the world will see it. I think like 3 weeks or 4 weeks later from now. So this is just for you guys.
I'll be the bad cop just to remind you guys. Put your phones away for this, please. This is a special thing for you guys to making the trip out here on this rainy night. So no video. Toby Kebbell. Nell Tiger is the Rupert Grint. Toby Basgallop. Anybody want to come ahead? Can you ask the why? Yeah. Congratulations, guys, again. Tony, let's start with you. Is this the germ of the idea? Does this come from you, sir? What's the germ of sir?
Yeah, I think it all goes back to having kids. I think anyone who's had kids understands the fear. The notion that anything can go wrong at any time. I'm a clumsy guy, so when I had kids, it was really treacherous for my family. And you get through it, but it changes your life. And the people that come into your life, you make new friends, you find new hobbies, you go traveling, you do stuff like this. So your life absolutely changes. And I think whenever you're doing drama, change because you put the characters in an uncomfortable position. And that was kind of it, really. From there, everything just blossomed. And gradually, over the years, new ideas came in, new experiences came in, and up until this point, when Night and I got together and started discussing the season as a whole and where we're going to take it, it's been an incredible ride. But I think the trailer represents very well what the show is.
Have you guys, the actors on stage here, have you guys seen much of the footage? Is this like the first time you're seeing much finished footage? I'm not sure he has some more.
I watched some of the first episode just today. There was emotion in interpolation.
I know, and I will head to the wall.
Turn off your emotion interpolation.
I cannot believe it.
No, it's not. It's in the past. It was super beautiful. And lovely to see everyone's beautiful work. Really moving. And so nice as it's great. So nice as the actor, we're so focused on our little minute details of our characters. So it's so lovely to see the scope of the story, the beautiful storytelling, and the masterful cinema that it was. Thank you.
How much is presented to you at the outset? Like Toby and Lauren, like you play the couple at the center. This is going through some issues, safe to say. You get the whole outline of the season. You get the initial script. What's the initial meeting with Night?
What's pretty luxurious is that there were many scripts. I mean, it really felt like making a film. Also, we had a sense, I wish I had a sense of a lot of where it was going. And,
So the new sort of character for you, I've never seen any people play this kind of character. You're put through a lot, even though this was a couple episodes I saw. It's a really emotionally raw situations that you're put in.
it's a fascinating, tragic character. And really very interesting to me. At the time I was playing our Wise and Little and My Fair Lady, and that's this character and piece that's so established. We know so much about it. It's in the culture in so many ways. And to go from that to working in a genre that I've never worked in and with a master of the genre. It would be a lot of learning and really fascinating exploration of grief and what people do with grief. This character, she takes her grief and expresses it in the most bananas way. Of course, we're all denying death, we're all walking around in that haze, but this character really, thanks to Tony, takes it to just a whole other level. So it's fascinating to figure it out and to play these little actors.
One thing I can say now, that we need to talk about in our intro, was the premise of this piece. When I'm deciding what to do, when Tony came up with the idea that a couple lost a child, and they're doing this fringe therapy with a dog. And this is actually a real fringe therapy. And it gets so extreme that the mother decides to hire a nanny to take care of the dog. And that premise is so tragic and weird and scary, but it's also oddly, inappropriately funny. And Tony is super funny. I don't know if this is looking, but he's super funny. And all of them are hilarious. And it turned out that they're all at this weird kind of, and that's been the tone that I've been really interested in with The Visit and with Split. And I'm really interested in that kind of, you're scared and laughing at the same time kind of thing. And Toby, again, I didn't know you were funny. You were super funny.
It was a lucky position I was put in because I was dealing with such a huge amount of grief and guilt, and then I have this incredible partner in crime, that's my brother, played by Rupert. So I had two great positions to play and doing the show. So I was sitting there learning all these practical things through the time. It was a phenomenal book, and we got in there. It was got me with us the whole time. And I'm dealing with this beautiful performance with Lauren, and then I get to drive by Rupert. So those things were, for me, they were a blessing. Such a breath of fresh air. And I know Rupert doesn't like a breath of fresh air.
And he was such a strong we touched on the food aspect, which is like a key theme throughout the series. Without again reading too much, why and what? It's photographed beautifully and creepily, the work that you do. What's up with the madness of food throughout this series?
Well, it's life. You have to. For Sean, it's everything. It's his entire life. He's become a head chef. He's opened restaurants. He's closed restaurants to start a family. But food is that thing that brings families together, keeps the bond, and then the extravagance, and then searching for new flavors. And there's eating, and then there's gastronomic eating, which is that level of Sean's position in chef. So, the theme, I don't know what the nice theme was throughout it, but just for me, it's that wonderful one.
And nourishment. Bring it back to your brothers.
Yeah.
How are we nourishing?
Yeah. I'm worried there's some really disturbing things in the show. I'm worried about my mom watching.
Nice mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked her this morning, I said, did you see the teaser for this? She's like, with the baby? Yeah, so what did you see there? Because I wanted to see if she thought it was a baby or a doll. She said, the baby. And then I was like, it was a baby? Yes, it was a baby. And I said, no, it was a doll. No. Yes, it was a doll. She's like, why? All the 80-year-old people we got. Apple, no worries, Apple.
Now, we don't know much about your character at the start. It's just kind of like an mysterious, like, presence as the nanny, the living nanny that enters this world. Is that tough to play? Sort of like, what is she? Who is she? Is that a challenge you can feel?
Well, I think for me, it was definitely sort of playing the whole of that and when to kind of retreat and give more, and that was really helpful in kind of working that out, because naturally in front of the camera I tend to retreat quite a lot and sort of hide, which was useful in some aspects of the acting, because she's quite up close, you can't really figure her out. Pretty much most of the series, she's always a big question mark in the house. What is she? Who is she? Why is she here? And so that kind of lent itself to my acting style, I would say naturally, which was quite helpful. I'm not very good with big stuff. And yeah, like really helpful in drawing it out when I needed to sort of go a little bit further and give a bit more. So it was very different from me, yeah, very different from anything I'd ever made before. So it was sort of stepping into those new shoes and trying to navigate them as best as I could. So
You know, being here at Comic-Con, Tony and I, I'm trying to say this delicately so I don't say it, actually. The character of Leanne is perfect for this audience, in my mind. You know that 6 years from now, or maybe even sooner, will be Leanne walking around at Comic-Con. Her character that we will slowly let you in on as we go. It's literally the character for these guys.
Rupert, have you ever done any genre projects? What is, Julian is a character and stuff. He really is something that he's quite poor. He really makes his presence known. It must be kind of a delicious role for you to play. What was
I love Julian. It's something I've never really kind of played before. So someone he's just so brash and just so outspoken and just when you read it, you're like, just say it. He's just so much fun, but it's almost like a facade. He is someone that is actually who's quite big in this situation, the crisis, kind of walking around. He's always got answers. He always feels like he's once ahead. But it's really when he comes face to face with the air, breaks. You know that he's quite wounded, quite vulnerable guy. So that's much interesting.
Not to take a huge left turn, but isn't it true you could have directed Rupert way back when? Did you turn down a lot?
You don't say it like that.
I don't think it all. Oh, that was sort of a family argument.
Yes. My mom said no. There was some talk about me doing a few of the Harry Potter movies, and I came to the set and met him when he was a child. So.
Same, yeah.
It was the second one, and
Chris Bond's right,
yeah, the second one. Then when I came to visit you a couple times, yeah, he was, they were all little kids at that time. It was, so bizarre to, feel older.
Is there something unique for you guys? Because it is essentially a four-character piece. You're in kind of like this extended play in this virtually single setting? Does it feel different given, what we expect on TV and film, multiple settings, dozens of characters? Does this feel more analogous to a play in some ways, or?
It felt like a film to me.
Yeah.
With the attention to detail. I mean, the wallpaper, the patterns, the beautiful clothes, the incredible apartment, the fact that we're all trapped in this one space. And for me, the result was, as an actor, it's interesting because nothing is casual. Every single word is considered. Every single word has weight and matters. And so pass the fork doesn't mean pass the fork at all, ever. And that was something that Nate is constantly reminding us because, it's easy to just think, oh, it really just says that, doesn't it? And no. And we were always mining for what's underneath, what's happening, what's the tension, and what's the subtext, which is just so fun to play.
I mean, so like, we do a scene up in where we were talking where it was Rupert and Lauren on a sofa outside on the back patio, and inside was Toby cooking. Toby did an entire meal. This in the background was like this big in the background, right? It was delicious. It was. I ate it every day. So we became like an amazing chef. And you went to culinary school?
Yeah, no, I mean I did, but actually just to jump back to that, it was how fun it was to be there. And I know a lot of people come on, but it was so good to be there. And you wanted to be around it. Like I said later, I'd rather be in that house. It was so meticulous. It was so well done. And the work that went into that place was phenomenal. I made you breakfast. There were a couple of gluten-free people on the so my Italian mushrooms, so we put that in buttermilk and then deep fries, delicious. But anyway, but it's that, yes, I am Drew. And so I started out as a Mark Butcher's restaurant and we changed it back to cut an onion and cut potato and people do all these things, and that was fun. My mother was a chef and I was a slave. Me and my three brothers and my sisters, so it was like free labor in the house for my prepping work. So I didn't realize how much I had to learn. And then I was in this restaurant, we need one of your chefs to come with me to set. You can't have it. And I can't have a set. But I got this guy for him, it was Drew. And Drew came like literally every day, every opportunity I got, I was cooking with Drew. He's not only a phenomenal chef, he's a great teacher, which is incredibly rare, He's a great teacher. He's a great dude. He's really phenomenal. So.
We had the secret back kitchen.
We had a secret back kitchen.
Clubhouse. You could go back there.
Which is now my secret.
I saw Toby on, which I'm sure you guys know, on this Black Mirror episode.
Yes.
I remember that episode, so it's one of my favorite.
That was.
You never know why these things stick in your head when you're a performance like that, and then you get the audition. All meant to be.
Did the cooking skills rub off on any of you guys? How are your cooking skills?
Just eat.
You drunk things.
Yes.
Two different modes of granati, which is this kind of obscure stuff. Kind of deconstructed, it's kind of different style. You want to feed that?
By the way, as an Indian, I'm hiring as many British people so that I can tell them what to do to get back.
You tell them that's right.
It's also working in this kind of space and do something, in a thriller horror, creepy vibe involving a baby and not think of Rosemary's Baby. Are there total touchdowns that Tony and I talked about?
Yeah, I don't think Rosemary's Baby was ever really an influence for me. I think it wasn't until we got into production that I was like, well, quite obviously that's the touchdown we should be using. But it was, I don't know, really try not to think of other movies or other genres when I'm writing. For me, the exciting bit came when I made the decision that we should never leave the house. Because what that does, it forces you to do something different with the writing. And having written on many different shows and been doing this job for a long time, you realise that you get a little bit tired sometimes. And when you give yourself that restriction, it changes everything. So I think there's probably a lot of movies that have done that genre type of let's go around the storytelling. And it really helps because you just can't tell the story the way your instinct tells you. So you have to start to be able to think again. So, you know, those Rise of the Babies is an incredible movie, but genuinely in my mind it was never really there.
At least in the movie that I've seen, it feels like it's structured in such a way that it keeps you on your toes. In the first couple episodes, does that stay throughout the series where it's kind of, you're always questioning it, raising new questions as each story unfolds?
I mean, Tony, I'm sure that there's another show that has done this, but Tony wrote every single episode. So one person wrote, you feel that. What that does to me and you guys is it feels like, a singular voice is telling you a story that doesn't have those kind of unconscious movements and compromises. That this is a very daring piece, and it's super entertaining, super fun, scary, all of that stuff. But there's a great ethos of emotion underneath it that Tony has brought. The dialogue is so sharp and so biting, and you want that feeling of one. It's a dream thing for me that you brought me this, Tony, and then we get to do this together. Seriously, we go back and get stuff constantly. Like as we're shooting episode 6, I would look and edit episode 3, and then I would call one of these guys and say, I don't think we got it. And can we go back? And this is why I think we should, what we missed. We just try it again. If we get an hour tomorrow, and I just walk on the set and do it. It was like that. And
That's not the one.
Actually, you feel so held and protected because somebody, this, master of the thriller genre, Godfather, is here to make sure that you are, covered.
yeah, you can't, first of all, you have to have it on the page, which Tony does, but you can't do it unless actors are willing to risk completely. And the performances that we're asking of these four are right on the edge. They're right there. Right on the edge. What I'm asking you to do, and you need to have abandon and let be vulnerable. And that's a rare thing. So try to create a space where they know there's a value system, that the process is at the highest level. And again, this is all for the intention of saying that this group that's watching it is at the highest level of being able to ascertain veracity, the truth of human emotion. And for me, like when I talk about things like that, when I see dead people, that line is overwritten. It's too young for him. It's not written well. But what he's saying is, I need to tell somebody. I can't tell my mom. I can't tell anybody. I want to tell you, you see Haley's truth when he's saying it. He and I talked forever before he said that line. That's what you're hearing, and that's what's causing that reaction underneath it all. And I trust that.
we can play super real as much as possible, and we know that this guy is creating this very strange world that he can then operate on this tiny subtext reality plane.
Have you all done plays? Obviously you've done. You've all done plays?
At school.
That's And so that's important to me. I hire a lot of actors. As you look at my movies, I hire a lot of theater-trained actors, Eddie Buckley, Eddie McAvoy, on and on. So all of them, because we do long takes. So we trust the dialogue, we pull it, we do long takes. We don't cut away when we cut, you're changing the emotion of something. It's almost a little distracting to you guys as you watch it. So we hold you in the moment as much as possible, and that takes a decision. They're doing all the choices that, not the editor. And that requires, for me, a different kind of craft of acting. And so I tend towards, and you're seeing this is really my theater-trained actors or brand-new actors that have learned bad habits that are just very pure and I can just ignite. So this is that combination.
I've also yes. All right. We're ready. Let's start.
Can everyone in line just crouch down? You guys just crouch down.
Yeah, I don't know. That's always a bad idea. All right. Yes.
My question is for Toby Kebbell because he's the most underrated actor in all of Hollywood. Guy Ritchie needs to make the real rock and rolla. That's just a fact. So my question is, what was it that was unique about this creative process that you think comes from working with M. Night Shyamalan specifically? And also, what was it that drew you to the project as far as like premise, characters, like meeting with M. Night specifically? You're awesome.
I, right from the beginning, the same as Black Mirror actually, bizarrely, I had to audition for that 4 times and I auditioned for this 4 times because I knew, every time I read it I was like, yes, but I know who that guy is, like I know who Sean is. And that was only enhanced by feeling the confidence of Tony's writing and Night come together. So on set, I'm working with actors I admire, actors who are spectacular, and then 2 people who trust when you make a decision that you have given it enough thought. And if it's wrong, we do it a different way. That's why the director's there, that's why the writer, the showrunner is there to guide all of those pieces to make them so precise. But it just, honestly, I cannot tell you how incredible the set is. I was jealous of the house. I was like, this house is so beautiful. I was so happy that I finally got to play someone who was successful. It was, I'm very flattered by your statement as well. Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's go over to the other side, please.
Hi, this question is from Mr. Shyamalan. I'm a music major at performing arts school, and I'm interested in drama too. And I wanted to ask how, at my age, a huge lack of experience, finding honesty in writing.
Say that last part again.
My lack of experience finding honesty in writing.
How do you find the honesty? Yeah, I'm trying to understand the lack of experience with the connection to finding honesty. But I feel, at least I'll do it from my version about when I was your age, that where I was when I was my instinct was to copy people. So that was where I admired this person, so I'm going to copy this. I like that movie, so I'm going to copy that movement. And that starts fading away in these years, right where you are, and you start to go, that doesn't feel right? But this something just slightly 5% different does. There is something in those masters that you're copying that's truthful to you, that's really connecting to you. But more and more you'll get their influences, and then you'll come up with your own take on it, your own voice, and that's a beautiful moment for you. And that can happen now. And that's jagged edges that you should be striving for. I don't even know why. That's the beautiful feeling as an artist. It's right, and I don't know why. I don't even know how I know this. That feeling. That's a thing you should strive for. Rather than sometimes I think we go, oh, I want to be like her or him. you know, I want to get successful. I want to make a movie like that. I want to make score like that. You'll come up with just who you are. Even the way you spoke just now on the microphone, no one in this room speaks like that, and you should have that in your music. It's so unique. That kind of, you have like a tremulous quality to you. You have an aspirational quality. You're delicate. You're strong. All of that should be in your music.
Question for Knight. Is there a film or are there films that you feel the audience and the majority of the audience missed what you were trying to convey? And if so, have you ever found that you missed what the audience saw and that you actually prefer their interpretation of your work and they found something deeper that maybe that subconsciously you worked in?
That's a really cool question. I think the trick that has been in my career is when I make up original toned movies, stories, right, now that we're doing this, and each time the marketeers in the studio has to learn that language and sell that language, and not a different version, but that language. And it's a balance between drama and thriller, right? And if they misrepresent that balance, it's not great, right? That's lying to the audience. And so I've learned over time about how to write in a way that I know what they're going to use and how to use it. And so I think if there's ever been, like Unbreakable would be an example, right? So Unbreakable was not sold for the reasons I just told you because they didn't believe in you guys. That as a company avoided anything to do with superheroes and comic books and sold it as like 6 sets of cartoons. And it's not scary. It has nothing to do with that. Bruce and I were doing something completely different. And so it was like, hey, I thought I was drinking Coke. It's jasmine tea. This is the worst Coke ever. No, it's jasmine tea. This is the worst Coke ever. No, it's jasmine tea. And it's too late because once the expectations are set like that, it's really hard. Now again, I've learned to kind of now say to that person across the table, hey, it's a crop circle movie. Hey, it's Hansel and Gretel for a YA thriller for we're talking about the business. I'm stronger to say that's what this is. It's for this audience in this way, and I'm okay with everything else being put aside. And then no one's ever, and then I love that. That's why you have to embrace that part. Even with this, as we're talking out, and I'm like, this is a dark conversation. Don't shy away from it. A couple has lost their child, right? That's at the center. Ooh, that's how you sell that. That's not, and they're being so resilient. They're trying to overcome this and that fight, and all of that's going to draw us in that conflict. So I've learned to be better at the framing part of it. I'm not answering the second question, but I properly when I answer when I'm going to say this. But when I did, sometimes when I do a movie, I get the right idea too late later, like. As I'm like in the press junket or something, and I'm like, oh no! And I'm like, you know what I should have done? I should have done, like, the arc of the character should have gone that way, not that way, or that, That's just an awful moment where you get the idea late, and like, but that goes with, yeah, it's true. Well, I think, like, what feels good when you get the right idea is you can see it, like, it drops down the well, you can hear the repercussions. That's what, like, a writer, you kind of go, oh my God, that just answered 10 problems in one answer like that. And sometimes I get those too late.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it up, man.
Hi, my question is from Shyamalan. So I'm a Desi Indian mom myself with a bunch of kids. So I imagine they're always having that conversation with their friends the same way about their mother. What is their mother's perspective? So, of course, I'm very deep, so that's a different story. What I wanted to ask you is, what's the global perspective that you're bringing? Because you have such a very vast, nuanced, rich cultural background that you're bringing to what you do.
Yeah.
And from our perspective, I watch everything that you do also as a Desi people from the Indian perspective, but also from being an American.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does that have bring richness to what you're doing?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I've been really lucky, guys, because to this conversation about each of us finding our agency, the thing that's different about us. So on paper, right? On paper, I live in Philadelphia, I was born in Pondicherry, India. This doesn't equate to a map of becoming a successful filmmaker around the world at that time, right? It just doesn't make it, you move to Los Angeles, and do this, and do that, you know? But by embracing those things wholeheartedly, and knowing my family's in Malaysia, London, and everywhere around the world, literally my family's all around the world, I'm really lucky because my films are received even bigger than they are in the United States. All in other countries around the world. My movies 1.5 to 2 times sometimes what they do in the United States. Because of this, because Latin America feels that immigrant kind of outsider thing that I'm doing unconsciously. Or I'm finding the thing that I go, wow, my aunt in Singapore and my uncle in London and my grandparents in India, whatever, they will relate to this tragedy that they are feeling. What is the universal thing that shoots through all of us? New York Comic-Con, Brazil, Tokyo, Sydney, all of it. What's common between all of us? What are the things we fear? We fear dying, we fear this, or family, how we protect. Those things, I'm drawn to those stories, those kind of universal stories. So it does make me feel a part of a global audience.
I can see that, and thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you.
First off, Josh, I think you did a really good job with these panels. Everybody in Apple and Morgan, all in now, it's entertaining. So this is a silly question at New York Comic-Con, please forgive me, crowd, but Knight's love for Philadelphia must have rubbed off on James McAvoy because he showed up at my wife's boxing class a few weeks ago, and I don't think he's filming anything in town.
Yeah.
So my question is for the cast. Toby mentioned Mark Vetri and his restaurant. What was it about your experience in Philadelphia that you enjoyed, and if you're going to come back for season 2, what are the things that you're looking forward to revisiting?
I loved it. I really loved it. I mean, we were at the studio so much, so I didn't get much time to do that drive. It's more I used to go. We went to the prison. That was amazing. It was so cool. But yeah, I love everything about Philly.
I didn't give them a lot of time.
I John was poor.
I'm a vegan and I still think it's a great sandwich. Okay.
We didn't get a lot of time off, but it was winter. But it was often for us as English people, we looked around and it was like, I think they partially built, and you forget the history of who came and built that. So there's a lot of English elements that we felt very homesick over. But yeah, the people there are such warm, giving, kind people. Everybody's local. Everybody was good to us. Everybody, the drivers are from there, the craftsmen. And they're all very inclusive. And if you don't know anything about sports, they'll tell you.
I'll give you a recommendation. The Dandelion is a great pub, so when you go back. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
First things, you've all done a great panel. I just want to say thank you for entertaining all 2,000s of us. It's been going great. And my question is, everyone here has, to the extent of my knowledge, worked in film and done a really good job keeping you captivated to the screen for a couple of hours, from Unbreakable to Prisoner of Azkaban to Black Mirror. And with the TV show, it's obviously many more hours than you normally have with the movie. So how do you keep that investment of just edge of your seat for that much longer of an extended period of time in this format?
Is that for who do you want to answer?
Anyone who's open.
Who's open?
I'm open. You don't to answer it, but I think the thing with film is you always feel like you don't have enough time. You have to keep them entertained for a very brief capture that. Actually, the nice thing about this is there's so much room, and you're allowed to not indulge, but you're allowed to explore much more. And your character becomes far richer. It's actually like when you play over and over again. time you do it, it's so niche. You start to realize things about the character. Comprehend that. And that's like that. I knew Sean was episode 1 ended up. So much more I didn't comprehend. So I actually it's a blessing.
It definitely gives room to explore the sort of challenge you've been given and the character you've been given. Definitely, I thought something way more shaping intimately and spent so much time with that. You spent so much time with the all 3 days that you had and you learned to really enrich them.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done movies, so, you know, I've 20 years in television, so I kind of, you know, I want to stress that this isn't just like a really long movie that's been cut up into pieces. With television, every single episode has to have its own arc, it has to find its own characteristics. So it's kind of like this was like making 10 movies, but short movies that, you know, we can get in and out in a week and shoot it, but yeah, it's a very different structure than doing a movie in my mind. You know, we've got 3 acts, with 3 acts over 10 episodes. So, you know,
I can't stress enough that the format, which is, you know, we've all brought up on situational comedies, you know, sitcoms, which are 30 minutes, but this is a thriller. It's 30 minutes, and that format is, for me at least, I think for Apple as well, really revelatory, because you can have a different trajectory of that movement. You can be very aggressive if you're going for 30 minutes. And I think you feel that each episode. I mean, you've seen a couple, you've seen 1 or 2, but you gobble these up because they're just, you know, raise their edge right to the end. And the end is at 30 minutes. You're going, what? That means what?
There's no fat on the boat.
Which is our answer to your question for me. And then making sure that we have the time and the resources, so we don't have 90 locations. We have this main location. What does that mean? We can spend time on doing take number 14 if that's what we needed.
And as an amateur, to have the potentiality of exploring the character over many seasons is just revelatory. It's amazing. It's like, it feels like, I don't know, it feels like you're in a company, a theater company, and you get to continuously delve and explore. So I mean, that, I hope we do get to do that. It would be really fascinating.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here with us. So midnight, now that you have a trilogy under your belt, do you have any other plans for The Happening by chance?
You know, again, I there's so many movies that I have in my head that I have notebooks that I keep like ideas and, hey, what if this happened, what if that happened, and they represent something in my life at that moment. So for me, I have 2 ideas that I know I want to be the next 2 movies. So I just finished draft 3 of this movie, and I know what the one after that in my head is. And they represent something that I'm going through right now. And I hope that that's, you know, okay. It's taking me original movies for, you know.